Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to this webinar organized by the African Governance Institute for Development, AGIP. So if you can hear me, I just want to be clear that everyone can hear me. Just leave a comment to say you can hear me, or yes, we can hear you very quickly. If you can hear me and you're here, please just leave a comment in the text box and tell us you can hear me. I just want to be sure. Yes, fantastic. Thank you, Obiageli. Thank you very much. Thank you, Chika. Thank you, Adiola. Thank you, Adelayo. Thank you very much. Tosin Duke, thank you. Thank you all for the feedback. Phenomenal. Wally, thank you so much as well. Thank you for joining us. Really, really glad to be here. Kadiri Wasiu, thank you very much. Kehinde Ayola, thank you. Thank you so much for being here today, guys. This is going to be an interesting and inspiring evening. I'm glad that our panelists are here with me tonight, and I'm glad that you're here as well. It's going to be an engaging session, and I love having conversations like this, so I'm so glad that you're here. So it's not too late to invite your friend. I think we put the link in the text box, so use the link in the text box to invite a friend. If you know a young person out there, this room should be full of young people. If you really are, serious about changing the Nigerian narrative or the African narrative, this webinar should be full of young people. All right, so if you have a friend, please invite them. We have two very inspiring young leaders who will be talking to us today. I have some questions that I'll be asking them that a lot of us can learn from. The future really is in the hand of the young people. Don't let what we see out there deceive you. The future really is in the hand of the young people. I'm glad to be here today, and I'll be hosting this webinar. My name is Ronke Giwa Onofowa, and I will be hosting this webinar today to talk about young people in governance. All right, so I'm just going to give you a few seconds to invite your friends. The link is in the comment section. Please invite your friends, as many as you can. Let's fill up this room, because I believe that there's a fire that's going to be, be here, and we need to spread that fire, spread that light, basically. All right, so invite your friends if you can. All right, yes, you can still tell a friend to register. The link is in the text box. Invite your friend to join us as soon as possible. I'm super glad that we have our panelists in the house today, and I'm really excited about this webinar. For those who are wondering, African Governance Institute for Development, AGIP, really has a lot in store for young people. And at the end of this seminar, we have something for you. So make sure you stay till the end. Whatever you do, don't leave halfway. I'm sure you won't be able to by the time we start this conversation anyway. But at the end, we have something for you. All right. So please stay till the end of this webinar. We have something specially for you. So please stay with us through to the end. All right. So please invite your friends and stay through to the end. Two things that I require from you today. Invite a friend and stay to the end. Like I said, our panelists are already here. And of course, one of them will be telling us a lot more about AGIP, what AGIP is, what they have in store for you, what you get to benefit from AGIP, what their mission is. We'll be learning all about that this evening. But yes, my name is Ronke Giwa Onofowa, and I'm glad to be hosting this. I'm joined by fantastic, inspiring young leaders who are here today, and we'll be talking to them. Of course, if you've seen the flyer, you know who I'm talking about today. We've got Honorable Seyi Adisa and Honorable Dr. Seun Fakorede with us today. Very young, inspiring leaders who are doing great things in governance, who have done and continue to do, who are great mentors and who are looking to also obviously pass the torch as well and pass the fire around to other young people like them. So they're here with us today, and we're going to start this conversation immediately. All right, so we've got Seyi Adisa, who is a public administrator, an inspirational speaker, an accomplished lawyer, and a distinguished John Maxwell leadership coach. I'm going to be inviting him to tell me more, but we'll also have Dr. Seun Fakorede in the house. He's a distinguished leader who has served as the Honorable Commissioner for Youth and Sports in the Oyo State government and holds the title of United Nations Ambassador for Peace. Obviously, it's not just a forum for Nigerians alone. We're talking Africa now, all right? We're global, not local. There's nothing wrong with being local, but we're talking global here. All right, so we've got both of them in the room, and I want to welcome them. Good evening, gentlemen, and thank you for joining us.
All right, good evening, Ronke. It's so good to be here. It's good to see my brother as well, Seun.
Yes. Okay, Dr. Seun Fakorede is muted. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead with you, Honorable Seyi Adisa. Please tell us, I didn't want to read your profile because I mean, hey, we've all seen it out there, but please tell us a bit about yourself.
All right, so thank you so much, Ronke. It's good to be here, and it's good to see all the people and faces and names I can see. So my name is Seyi Adisa. I am a public administrator. I'm a lawyer. I got into government at the age of 27 in 2011. I was the principal private secretary to the late Governor Abiola Ajimobi. The principal private secretary pretty much is the gatekeeper to the governor's office. So everything that had to do with the governor's life, I was in charge. And then after 8 years, I ran for office and I became the member representing Afigio State constituency at the Oyo State House of Assembly. That was a role I was in between 2019 and 2023. I'm passionate about development. I want to take on the responsibility of helping young people because I consider myself privileged to have been in government for 12 years. And this is the passion and mission I have now, to pass on as much knowledge as possible to those that are coming or that want to become part of this system. Because to be honest, Nigeria is for us. It's not for any one part or one group of people. And so that's the mission I'm on now, to get as much knowledge as possible to people. Passionate about development. I want to see people and communities develop. So that's pretty much about me. And AGID is another platform whereby we will help young people interested in politics and governance. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Honorable Seyi Adisa. All right, so Dr. Seun Fakorede is here. I'd like him to tell us a bit about himself. Can somebody unmute him, please? I think, okay, yes. So yes, please tell us a bit about yourself, Dr. Fakorede.
So I think I've been unmuted.
Yes.
Good evening, everybody.
Good
My name
evening.
is Seun Fakorede, and it's good to be here. Just like my brother, I also had the privilege to join government at the age of 27. And in 2019, when I was appointed the Honorable Commissioner for Youth and Sport of your state, at age 27, that was the youngest in the history of Nigeria's democratic rule. I mean, I had to say democratic rule because, we've had, persons and politicians like Babaolu Lawyer, who was also, a commissioner at, 27. So, but, all this happened before, the democratic, rule, before the democracy, in Nigeria. So, and since 2019, I've done my bid, to make sure that flying very, highly, and not just, locally, but globally. And I served, as Honorable Commissioner for a full term of 4 years in Oyo State. Before then, I was running Home Advantage Africa. Home Advantage Africa is a platform, for Africans, a platform that actually, encourages Africans to change, the narrative that we have. And we believe so strongly that if things are going to change, then, we need to also reposition the minds of people where, the history of Nigeria or what, Africa really, stands, for. And that's what we've been doing since 2015. I'm so glad to be here, because any opportunity to share my experience, because I believe so strongly that maybe sometimes when we let people know what we've been through, all those that we've been able to go through successfully, it kind of encourages a lot of people coming behind, or who are actually watching from a distance to see that success, progress, greatness is not rocket science. You have to actually be able to put in the work to be whatever you want to. So it's a pleasure to be here, and I'm so glad that I could make it against all odds.
Yes.
Because I just got a over 25 hours flight from Latin
Brazil.
America. So it's so good to be here.
Yes, I want to especially thank Honorable Seun Fakorede, really. He's just come from Brazil and he's jumped on this call. So I want to especially thank you for being here today. All right, so for everyone who's joining us, thank you very much and welcome. You're going to get your chance to ask questions. So do get your questions ready. When it's time for Q&A, shortly, you'll be able to ask your questions. But I think the first question I'd like to ask is Honorable Seun Fakorede, because people often ask, what motivated you to, get involved in, governance? But I always like to ask you this way, what were you thinking, especially thinking about the reputation of people in governance and politics in Africa generally? What were you thinking? I don't, that's how I want to ask that question.
All right, so so my interest in government has actually been, long-standing before I eventually got the opportunity, to serve. And quite frankly, I tell people that when I got the opportunity to serve, I was not even like, it was not like I was expecting it at the time that it came. But the fact was that I was very prepared, for it, because I've actually had that mind, of participating in government and not just being at the side, bench. I've always had it in mind to be a key player, in the politics, and governance, of my community. So when the opportunity came, it was just a very, fantastic, one. And I tell people that this, interest in government, it was from it was as a result of the fact that I believe that if we need people to change the system, I feel that personally, even if I say so, I feel that I'm actually one of those persons that could actually effect some significant level of change when in government. So I've always had it in mind, and then a lot of people say a number of things about politics. Then that it's a dirty game. There's no way you can actually get in there and not get stained, or you not meddle with things that you're not meant to meddle with. But I told myself that if we call it dirty game, and then we leave this so-called game in the hands of very few people, then we will never have a clean society. So if something is going to change about the policy and the policies and politics of Nigeria, then people who seemingly have maybe cleaner hands should be willing to participate in it, and we don't leave this just to like shallow-minded people or feeble-minded people to just take and be in charge of governance. So those were the things that really strike my interest about politics. So when the opportunity to serve as honorable commissioner for youth and sports came, it was a case where I was just fully prepared for it. And that's why I tell people that to the glory of God, when a lot of people say stuff about politicians, say stuff about political leaders and give bad examples, I can say that we still have very few good examples. And that's why, sometimes I'm always very, very skeptical when it comes to going into collaboration, with people. But like my brother, Seyi Adisa, he has also been in government for like about 12 years. And to the glory of God, his track record is there. The things that he has been able to do is there. And to the glory of God, I also served actively, for 4 years. And no single case of misappropriation, case of any scandal or any form of misconduct. So I believe so strongly. And I'm not saying that perfect. I'm not saying that for those that maybe had one case or the other against their name that has somewhat stanched their white garment, as it were. I'm not saying we are better than them, and I'm not saying that but I'm just saying that it's possible for we to have a system where we have people that will do all their best to make sure that to stand on the part of justice, to stand on the part of righteousness, stand on the part of morality.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Seun Fakorede. Honorable Seyi Adisa, I must confess, the first time I saw you, I thought, what is this guy doing in politics? You went to KC, you seemed a bit like a nerd, you seemed like an intellectual. What are you doing? What motivated you to get into governance?
Well, I should ask myself that question as well. But more seriously, like Seun has said, I kind of knew I was going to get into government. What I didn't know was when. And my story goes far back as well, just listening to Seun's story. When I was 13, that was when I had to pick whether I was going to go to science or arts class. And I think that was the first time I really prayed about my future. And I had this nudge that I was going to be in government. Very weird, because at the time, Abacha was our head of state. So there weren't many good models, but thank God there was cable TV and Bill Clinton was president in the United States. So at least I got to see what government looked like in the sense of, civilians running affairs. And that was the, it was just like a little nudge in my spirit. And I got, okay, if you want to go into this thing, what do people like this, what do they study? Bill Clinton is a lawyer, so I decided to study law. So I kept following those little nudges in my spirit. But by the time I got to university, I think I had cracked the code. Most politicians were about 50 years old or older. So the plan was to be in the law field for a couple of years till I turned 50. By that time, I'll have made enough money. I'll have, built a career. Then I'll cross over into government, because I knew deep down that was what I was going to be called to. The only difference is I got called to the bar in 2010. And by 2011, I got the call to become the principal private secretary. And it happened that the governor was looking for a lawyer to become his private secretary. And I got recommended, and that was how I got into the system. When the question came, I didn't have to think twice, because it's something that I always knew I was going to get into. I just didn't know when. So every step I had taken all the way was preparatory to being in government. And it makes sense to be a lawyer. Lawyers are good communicators, they're good advocates, they can think on their feet, and so on and so forth. And those are things you need in politics. So I think my career has helped me a lot, or prepared me a lot for the office I'm in, or have been in over the last 12 years. So that was my own story. You're correct. People look at me and say, how do you survive Oyo State politics? With the reputation Oyo State politics has had. But yes, 8 years in the executive, 4 years in the legislature, that's been my experience over the last 12 years. And we've been able to learn a few things, which, like I said, I hope to continue to share with our participants as we go along.
All right, thank you very much, Honorable Seyi Adisa. Now, Honorable Seun Fakorede, how would you say you put your foot through the door? I mean, it's a thing to know that you want to get into governance, you had the background, blah, 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 but how would you say you got your foot through the door, and how would you say you chose what party you wanted to, participate with, for example? So can you tell us, at that monumental moment, you decided what party you're going to choose and how you got your foot through the door in politics?
All right, so quite frankly, I necessarily didn't have the opportunity to say, okay, I'm choosing between A, B, C, or D. What I was just, quite focused on was impact and, community service. So I was just doing my thing. I was just doing what I love to do best, helping, people. I mean, contributing my quota to the lives of young, persons, around me and across Africa. So one fateful day, the call just came in, that okay, yes, blah blah blah. To cut the long story, I'm short. I was called, to meet with the governor. And we had just a very short conversation. I think about 7-minute conversation. It was just myself and the governor. And then the next thing the governor did was to stand up, stretch his hand, and tell me that congratulations, you have the job. And sincerely, before I came to meet with the governor, I did not know that I was coming to be should I call it, interviewed or to be questioned, along maybe, trying to be, commissioner. And I just thought that, okay, I was running Home Advantage Africa, and I was very, experienced when it comes to, youth empowerment, human capital development, for the youth. So I felt like maybe the state just wanted to consult, my services, or, to make me bring my skills, on board, maybe as a consultant or so. And I said to myself, I said to myself that I've never had government money in anything that I do. That this one that the government is trying to call me now, I'm going to build the government heavily, because it was my sweat that I used to, build. It was my sweat that I used to build, what they see as, my antecedents that have made them, extend an invitation, to me, not knowing that, I was going, being, poached to be part of the government. So it was that day right there and there that, when the governor mentioned it, that, oh, social, would you leave what you are doing in Lagos and come pick up a job as a commissioner in Oyo State? I'm like, oh, really? Like, so for me, I'm like, because I never thought that maybe in court, maybe it was that easy to commissioner lots of possible. Is it that easy to be, I'm a commissioner? I know, like, and it's not like I see, okay, maybe myself and the governor have had, several years of, long-standing relationship, or maybe, I did something that was just so, that was thinking of how do we repay, Seun back, in the that political mindset and everything. So I was, a little bit, shocked that, commissioner, just like that. Or what commissioner? Is there any commissioner different from the kind of commissioner that I know? I grew up in a political household. My dad, is a politician, so I really understand. I understand some of these workings. And I became, part of the government, and just like I said, it makes me prepared, and that was why it was easy. A number of people see when I was in office, a number of people felt like maybe to be a commissioner after all was not quite difficult, just because of how effortlessly and seamlessly I carried, executed, my duty. I discharged my duty while in office. But the truth is, that someone carries it effortlessly doesn't make it, just easy, or not, difficult at all. I know that I'm convinced, and this is not, just trying to be, spooky. I'm a very spiritual man, but aside, that, I know that, I actually have the grace, for the office, and that's why a lot of things were actually, quite, easy for me. A number of things that would have become, a very great challenge, or would have been consuming, did not, consume me, just because, number one, there was this grace working for me. Number two, I've been able to build capacity over time. When people were not watching, I was busy growing. I was busy developing myself. I was busy fortifying, myself. So that's when, when the opportunity came, it was difficult for me to be tossed, to and fro by every, political wind of doctrine, as it were. So I had a very, very strong, footing. I knew exactly what I'm expected to do. So I was not really going after people to go and be, trying to lobby anybody to maybe cover up for me, where maybe I was actually doing the direction. And the governor actually gave me a very, very free hand, because I remember I went to him and I said, okay, sir, blah 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 blah, this, and he said, Seun, work with your plan. And he told me, I said, look, he said something to me that I would say, form the basis of my, footing in government. He said to me that, Seun, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Feel free, make mistakes, but learn from your mistakes as quick as you can whenever you make them. So the fact that I have the prayers of my principal, to say that, okay, Seun, don't be afraid, make mistakes, but I'll also be here, to guide you whenever I need to come in. So it was that confidence. Do you get? It's just like the way it's just like the way it is when you feel like there is, oh yes, so I have the license to do anything I want, but I'll still not do it just because so that was just the way it was for me. So and that really, really shaped me. It really helped build my self-esteem. It really helped build my confidence. that I have, a principal who, I'm not afraid to make, a mistake, in
Right.
sight. So, and
Right.
I'm happy that, to the glory of God, it's not just, my, testimony that, okay, well, I'm the only one that can tell that I did well. I know how much, of feedback I've been able to get, from people far and near, even people in the opposition, and, even people that are actually, basically neutral. And I feel that for
Right.
me, that's, a really good pointer. The fact
Absolutely.
that I did my best.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Honorable Seyi Adisa, for someone who's in the room who's feeling like maybe they look at both of you as you were still to a level a bit privileged in perhaps how you entered into governance, even though we've heard from, Honorable Fakorede that it wasn't like he was just really appointed and chosen. How does someone who feels a little clueless, how do they begin their journey into governance?
All right. So thank you, Ronke, for that question. I think let me say that not everybody is going to run for office, because every time I talk to people sort of seem to think that if you're going to get into government, maybe you're going to run for office. Like Seun has described, and like I described in my first term, there's some people that are appointed. And like Seun said, and in my case, we were not lobbying. We were just doing what we were doing in our corner. But you have to be pretty damn good in your space to be noticed. I think, if you look at governments around the world, and like I said, when I was working with the governor, there are times we're looking for some very strange skills. So, for example, there was a time we were looking for a speech writer. There are not very many speech writers. But if you're a good speech writer and people know of you, then it would have been easy to become essay to the government for things like that. So I think one of the first things I would say for people that feel they don't know anything is, in your trade, be excellent, be good, and don't be good in a corner. Where in this day, I just do my own thing in my corner. I'm not looking. No. This world is global. We must be bold and let people know what we're doing. You're building a brand. Everybody has a personal brand. When I think of Seun, I know what I think of, even just by calling his name. When I think of you, I know what I think of just by calling your name. So number one is that not everyone is going to run for election. There's some people, and they call them names. They say, oh, they're technocrats. Oh, those people are technocrats.
Yes.
Well, technocrats that are in office and are doing the job, but they're in the office. So there are people that very good at what they do. Yes, there is also, I get appointed. There's also, like I experienced in my own time, I ran for office, and I think that's a different ball game entirely. The benefit of running for office is you have, to a large extent, your office is sure for the 4 years unless you are recalled, which is not very common. So you're sure that the 4 years you won an election, you will be there unless you are recalled. The other one that is appointed, you are appointed at the discretion or at the service of the principal, the governor, or the president, as it were. So that's the difference. But running for election is another way. It has a lot involved. And again, these are some of the things that we'll be sharing in our programs as we go along. There are people that have gone into government by being civil servants, and they rose through the ranks. Governor Ambode was accountant general. There are different governors that became governors, but they were civil servants. And by the time you get to the position of permanent secretary, you're quite influential, and you're counted as part of government. And maybe the other thing I should say, and if you are none of these things, please join a party at least. Join somewhere. Because in my experience as well, we have chosen commissioners just by people that they submitted names from the party. The party submitted names of 3 people from their local governments, and the governor looked at it and decided to pick A, B, and C because of these reasons. Because when we're doing selections or appointments, there are certain things that are involved. So the governor is involved in making sure, well, you call it federal character in Nigeria, but in the states, we need to make sure that all the zones of the state are well represented. So the governor will pick somebody from Ibarapa, he'll pick somebody from Oyo, he'll pick from Ogbomoso. If you're in Lagos, he'll pick from Lagos East, he'll pick from Lagos West. If you're in Kaduna, he'll pick. So the party has a part to play in it. And like everything, when a party is writing the names, they want to put their best people forward. They don't want to put somebody forward that the governor will overlook and pick from another local government. So if you're somebody that has been participating in your local government, you have the ears of the leader, you're committed, you're hardworking, and they feel you're also educated and have some degrees, they might say, why don't we recommend this person to the governor? And alas, your luck may shine and you may become appointed as a honorable commissioner, as a special advisor, or whatever the roles are. So there are different ways to get involved. You know, so many ways people have gotten into office, like Seun has said, even without thinking they were going to get in, you know. But a lot of it has to do with preparation. A lot of it has to do with positioning. A lot of it has to do with you being ready for the opportunity when it comes and really being involved. I think that cannot be understated, because if you have to be in that party for them to recommend you. And if you're in your profession, you have to be, you know, out there with a great brand. Our Honorable Minister for Communication, Bosun Tijani, everybody knew his stuff. So when they appointed him as Minister for digital economy, nobody could really argue with the thing. Whether he supported the party or not was irrelevant. The guy knew his stuff. So that is the sort of positioning we need to start to think about. But by and large, join the party, get involved, and these are platforms that you can get in through the door.
Thank you very much, Honorable Seyi. Now, obviously, a lot of young people think that there's a conspiracy against young people participating in governance. We know the joke about how they say the youth are the leaders of tomorrow, but look at us. It feels like the same people, you know, from when we're younger are still the same people in office. So what are the barriers that young people seem to be facing that you feel, and how can we overcome these barriers? Honorable Seyi, they will take Honorable Fakorede on that as well.
I think the first thing is mindset. You know, when I speak to young people, and I'm still young, I get the impression people have concluded many things. Oh, it's government. They are all like that. Oh, they don't listen to people. Oh, they are this. Oh, they are that. Oh, it's for people that are violent. Or, oh, me, I can't come my eye, you know, and oh, it's dirty. Oh, it's diabolical. So we have created all these gates, all these things that will not even let us ask questions or how do I join? So all of these things are mindsets that prevent young people from going near. You know, am I saying they are not there? No, I mean, we see in some cases, but the honest truth is that once your mind is made up that this space is too violent, your convictions are not stronger than your fears. If your convictions are not strong enough to overcome these so-called things in the environment that you want to go into, then you won't take that move. And I think for me, mindset is a big issue. I also think young people will normally ask me about funding. You know, to become a senator, you need like 300 million. Why must you become a senator? Why don't you start with local government? Why is this senator you want? I've met people at 28 saying they want to be governor. And I asked, can you be Shell MD at 28? Let's be frank, they're talking about governing a whole state. You know, these are not, it's not child's play, as it were. So I think funding is expensive, and it's not just in Nigeria. Elections around the world are expensive. Every meeting, every structure, they say it needs to be oiled. You have meetings, you bring people. Those people you have brought, they have left their job for the day. When they go home, some of them they get daily pay. They've been with you on campaign since 9 to 6. When you finish the campaign, you say goodbye. God bless you. Nobody's going to follow you the next day. You know, so these are real issues. And in the true sense of the word, if you think you can fund an election by your own money alone, you must be joking. You know, you know, people use social capital, what they have built over time, to raise funds. I think things like structures also have, you know, there are issues to young people have structures because you've not invested in the structure. You know, you've not joined the parties, you've not gone to ward meetings, you've not paid your dues. Then a few days before election, you show up, you say, I want to run. And people are wondering, From where? Who are you? Who is your father? Where did they bring you from? Do you understand? You've not been part of the system. You've not engaged us. And then you come so that you win election and then we won't see you again. It doesn't work like that. So these structures, and that's why people talk about godfathers, they talk about all of these things. They are part of the structure, but it's those that are willing to get their feet in the ring that understand the structures and are able to work them. And and maybe we should say lack of knowledge too, because some people just totally miss the whole thing. So I think these are challenges why those that are there continue to stay there, and those that are not there are not able to get there. The barriers of entry are high, but it's not too high for people that are ready and are determined to overcome them. And that's the honest truth, because as I said, it's not only by election you can go in by several other ways. So let me hold in on that.
Thank you. Yes, I'd like to know from you too, Honorable Seun Fakorede, why don't we have more people like you, more people around your age, more people with your exposure in governance? What are the barriers, and how can we overcome these barriers and and get more young people in governance? Can you hear me, Honorable Seun Fakorede?
Yes, so I think the line got back.
Oh, okay. I was asking what your thoughts are.
I'm trying to confirm if it's from my hand or from the host's hand.
Okay.
All right. So for me, I think that I have a little tricky opinion and perception of this subject matter, because I know that yes, the both sides, they have a part to play, and I'm talking about the youth themselves. In fact, they have a lot, to contribute to this. And then the other side, the older generation, the older politicians, that never want to, leave power. And the truth is this: whether we like it or not, I mean, we all have to get to that point where we understand the fact that power is not easily relinquished. And I mean, for youth too, we should understand that, look, I mean, if it is not easily relinquished, then you know that you have to also fight very vehemently to get whatever you want, if we feel that we're actually going to do a better job. So I mean, it's quite interesting that every time you hear that youths are the leaders of tomorrow, and it's not the youth that are actually, saying that themselves. It's the leaders that are saying that we are the, leaders, of tomorrow. And I mean, I've seen a number of, older politicians, older leaders, give very wonderful speeches about how the future is, the youth. And I mean, these are the same persons that when you go on YouTube, you watch the videos, they said that about, 20 years ago, they're still, occupying, I mean, those offices. And, for me, I do not, necessarily, fault them. I think that, there has to be a re-engineering within the youth, community to take things not by sentiment, but, doing it the way it ought to be done. I would say that in a number of we youths, today, we are actually more emotional, more sentimental than, real, and, ready to actually, take the baton of leadership. And, the point where we'll be ready is when we know that, look, and this is, I want to believe that this is home. When it comes to power, when it comes to government, for anybody that would care to listen, power is actually very sweet. I mean, it is not something that you really would want to leave. If there are other, options, a number of leaders would never. I mean, if it's possible for leaders, to have leaders that they will say that, okay, life, what's it called now? Life leadership. That's okay. You know what? This governor I'm doing, this president, that I'm, doing. It has to they will tell you, they will prove to you how it's the people that even wants them to keep, running for office after every 4 years. And it's just because of the fact that there is this thing that comes, with public office. There is this, I don't know how to, how to call it. I mean, and sincerely, for those that have not been in government or that have not been in power, you might really not be able to understand, these things. But the truth is, it will only take a man that has a right character and a strong conviction, to see power and to say that, okay, whenever I need to walk out, I can. Do you get that? You've not allowed, power intoxicate you so much that you know that maybe this is what you are meant to do, and this is the number of years that you are meant to serve. But you served it, you are now trying to look for a constitution amendment to increase the number of terms. I mean, we've had leaders that for the sake of their personal ambition, they were trying so hard to amend or review the constitution to make sure that it can actually accommodate their personal ambition. I mean, I like to give examples a lot because there is no point in having this kind of practical classes, and we cannot, give examples of the people that have actually walked it, through before. I mean, Seyi Adisa ran, for 4 years. I don't know if it's an understanding in his constituency that look, you cannot do more than 4 years. But we all know, I mean, even though we are in different parties, I'm, in the PDP, he, ran and administered under the APC, government. But if I'm going to say it, I mean, I would like to stick on the part of the truth. I personally consider, him to be one of those, lawmakers who actually serve well, who discharge their duties accordingly. So normally, if you are going to ask me that, I mean, does it deserve, another term, to run for office, I would say yes, that it does, But whatever reason he has for not running for a second term, I mean, just like I said, maybe during the course of this, these engagements, maybe you also tell us that is it because of the
Pressure.
the constituency, what's it called now? What do they call it?
Convention.
Zoning. There's something they call zoning. In politics that you know what, after you do 4 years. After 4 years, give it to Adisa or whatever, to do their own, blah blah blah. So I mean, but we know people that yes, they understand that this is the laid down rules, but because that power is so sweet, they will find a way to circumvent that existing, structure or principle that they have on ground to say that no, yes, though we agree that it should be for 4 years, but you can, testify to the fact that I did well. So, there are other people that do not even do half as much as I did, and they have an automatic,
return
ticket to lobby yourself to make sure. So it takes a very strong man, with a strong character to say that, what, if this is the agreement, then I'm going to bow, or to say that I know that I've done well. Even the people want me to go again, but I have other plans, to go after, and then to bow, to dove his heart and to walk out. So whatever side that our brother Seyi Adisa belongs to, I still strongly believe that it actually is going to take in a man who has a strong character to be able, to pick any of those sides and to stand, by it. So back to the conversation of, so I feel that the older generation, they are not ready, and we cannot fault them, because the next thing they will say, if you say that, but they will say that we are not stopping you from obtaining the form, go and obtain your form. We are not stopping you from running, go and run. But we all know, for someone who wants to run for governor, for example, now maybe you are 30 years of age. The constitution now permits you to run for governor at 30, and they told you that the form to obtain a form to be governor is 50 million naira, to obtain a form. Now you ask yourself that sincerely, yes, we know we youths that actually have as much as that or even more, even in their 20s. But looking at the ratio, how many people could actually boast of that kind of amount that, okay, yes, I have this to run. And it's another thing, getting a 50 million naira form. Another thing is running a successful campaign, electioneering I mean, just like you said, look, people come, they leave their maybe for organizer work, they leave their bricklaying work, they leave their carpentry work to follow you the one. You handed them, puff. They came, the next day. They followed you. You perhaps just gave them, pure water this time around because there was no, there's no more, funds to, accommodate snacks. And, they came and then you said, thank you, God bless you. I'm serious. The truth is, you would most likely not see them the fourth, day. Apart from maybe the people that, they know that whatever being on your, being physically available on your campaign doesn't, hamper their means of, livelihood. Those are the kind of people that you be like, okay, well, I'll still definitely make my money. My passive income is there, but I so much believe in this guy, and I really want to give all my all, to it. Because as a married man, I'm going to be very irresponsible if I get back home to my wife, and if she says that, Obi, what's up? What do we have? What are we going to cook? And I said, I was on campaign with Adisa. Okay, yes, when you're leaving, what happened? I said, God bless me. Oh, really? So it's God bless me that Osinachi will eat. It's God bless me that we would use to, run the house. So the number of these things that we really need to be ready to talk about. And, by the time we are ready, and the truth is, I don't know, but personally from my own experience, I think the greatest challenge that I've had, in office, especially when I got into office, it was not necessarily the older generation anymore. It's the youth. The youth.
Wow.
Those were the greatest, challenge that I had. Having people that look. I felt like if anybody is going to antagonize me, or if anybody is going to actually come for my head, it shouldn't be the ones that I'm representing. But that's not the case. So it's the young people that wants to go for your head. It's the young people that feel like, why you? And a number of sentimental reasons why should it be you? Why should it be this? Or why are you not doing this way the right way? And the society or even the older generation has now made it look like it's an abomination for a young person to actually make a mistake, but it is normal for an older person to make a mistake. So that's why you will see most times, an older person makes any mistake in government, it's hardly publicized. But when that young guy, that's 1 out of 10 or 1 out of every 100 makes mistake.
Makes headlines.
We gave look at what made out of the office, and also we really need to come to that. I don't want us to be sentimental anymore. Look, I believe so strongly that yes, money will play an important role in politics, but I also believe that a national orientation will also change things. That look, okay, if it means that this money, collect the money that they give you, but vote for who can actually represent you. Vote for who you will still see on the streets, the next day or after 4 years to say that guy, you don't do well at all. Not the ones that will just lock their gates against you. So I really don't want us to be sentimental at all. You would never see me propagating the fact that it has to be youth. No.
Okay.
I want a fair society. I want a society where whoever is fit to do the job. So if a 60-year-old man can actually convince us beyond reasonable doubt, like the legal people would say, let us vote for him. Okay. So, but if that young guy would convince us that you know what, I would do as much as what this old man would do, but guess what? The advantage I have over him is my strength is not abated. I still have the energy to run around. Yeah. I still have, the vigor to do this and to do that. He has won my heart. Okay. But I will never vote for that young guy
just
who doesn't know, who is not fit, just because is that guy a young guy. That's the only thing you have as your selling point. I'm not going to do that.
Fair enough. I know people want to ask questions. So, time is fast spent. So I'll open the lines for questions. Please type your questions. But I'd like to, from what Honorable Seun Fakorede has said, I'd like Honorable Seyi Adisa to say, while we're waiting for your questions, yes, I believe also that, yes, not just because we shouldn't just vote for people because they are young people, but I'm sure there are loads of, qualified people who can also, be in governance. But I think also one of the major issues is mentorship, the lack of mentorship by this older generation. So how do we sort of bridge that gap and form some sort of, intergenerational cohesiveness that can help those who have been there for ages and who refuse to go to sort of mentor, upcoming people. So yeah, while he answers these questions, please put your questions in the text box. We're taking questions right now. All right, go ahead, Honorable Seyi Adisa.
All right. It's there's this term used politically called Godfather. And Godfather comes with a lot of negative connotations.
Yes.
But every industry has its own terms. If you're in the private sector, they'll say, "Oh, he's a sponsor. He's my sponsor." Although he's my mentor, my mentor. The truth of the matter is that we all need people from the older generation to guide us. I think for me, some people have walked these ropes before us. It's just amazing how it is sometimes demonized or it's used in a way that is negative. I think young people must understand that just because I'm young doesn't mean everybody that is old is stupid. And just because old are old doesn't mean everybody that is young is. It doesn't work that way. You have stupid old people and you have stupid young people, and that's the truth. Just like you have wise old people and you have wise young people, everybody should bring what they carry on their inside. So for me, if intergenerational collaborations will work, it needs to be an appreciation of both sides. The young must appreciate those older ones that have gone before, respect what they've achieved, respect the things they've been able to do, and be willing to learn from them and say, "Look, sir, I saw you did this, you succeeded in this, you succeeded in that, and I want to learn from you." And then the older ones too must appreciate the energy and the resourcefulness and the innovation of the youth and be able to say, "Look, come, let's sit together, let's talk." And that doesn't have to do anything with age. It just has to do with the person. What values does that person carry? What values does that person have? Because those are the things that will attract you or draw you to that person. I was fortunate to have worked with my boss. My boss was my mentor. People say my godfather, is whatever name you want to call him. But, he genuinely cared about the youth. And, there are many times he would actually tell me reasons why he's doing certain things so that when I get to those positions, I'm well equipped. And, people say, "Oh, you were able to run the house. You did well in the house to the grace and glory of God." But I learned a lot of things from him. When I won my elections, I asked some of my colleagues that didn't win. There were some things that they told me that I thought was weird. I was like, "Why did you do that?" And they said, "Well, we didn't know." But I knew because in 2015, I was shadowing somebody that had run an election and had won second term in office. So when it got to 2019, I understood how to run elections because it wasn't my first time. I had watched somebody else plan, structure elections. And then by the time it was my own turn to do it, I was better equipped. And so that's the power of mentorship. That's the power of having sponsors. That's the power of having those that have gone before you. Now, as I said, you have to look closely at the values of those you want to go and attach yourself to. Don't attach yourself to people that your values are intrinsically different, because what will end up with it will not be good. They might pressure you to do some things you don't feel comfortable doing, and then you have yourself to blame. So you need to open your eyes and be careful who you go and learn from, who you go and collaborate with, because somehow by immersion, you start to change and become someone you don't even expect yourself to be for a period of time. So for me, I think it's important. I think, we need to look out for those. As I am now, I have political mentors, people that I go and ask questions. How did you do this? How did you do that? When you were out of office, what were you doing? When you were in office, how did you do this? How did you keep your group? How did you maintain your grassroots movement? How did you do this? What did you do then? Because I don't know everything. And I want to know, I need to know, because I still have a long career ahead of me. So this is how I see this intergenerational collaboration working. You must appreciate, both sides must appreciate each other and be willing to learn from each other. That's the only way it's going to happen. Otherwise, you have young people cursing the old ones. They are wicked. They leave the place. They are wicked. They've been there since their 20s. They won't leave the place for us. They are very wicked. And as Seun has said, power is not served a la carte. Nobody leaves power alone voluntarily. There has to be if you like, whether it's a taking of the power or a negotiation of the power, but it has to be done in a way whereby you can get on the table and you have your seat at the table, and you know, you're able to add value where you are. So those are my thoughts.
All right, thank you very much, Honorable Seyi Adisa. All right, we'd like to take your questions. Please get in the text box and type your question, whether it's for Honorable Seun Fakorede or Honorable Seyi Adisa. I would like to take your questions very quickly. So type in your question. This is a great opportunity for you. Oftentimes people are saying, oh, how do you, you know, a lot of young people have questions. And sometimes you don't get this, you know, close to the people who have the experience to answer your questions. This is a great opportunity. So we'd love you to ask a question. All right, so a question here says, can a young person with a very strong achievement in private sector get in without being seen difficult to manage? I'm not sure if I get your question. Can a young person with a very strong achievement in private sector get into governance? I guess you're saying without being, okay, I'm not quite sure if I understand your question. But can you phrase it so I can have better understanding? But in the meantime, I have a question for you. If you're listening, if you've joined us today, I'd like you to just answer this question. So everyone, if you're listening, please get in the text box and answer this question. How strongly do you believe that increased youth involvement in governance can positively influence the future of our society? So once again, this is my question for you. Increased youth involvement, when young people are involved in governance, this can positively influence the future of our society. Please rate in level of agreement on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 to strongly agree and 5 to strongly disagree. All right. How strongly do you believe that increased youth involvement in governance can positively influence the future of our society? So let me know, 1 to 5, 1 being strongly disagree and 5 strongly agree. Do you understand the question? And answer that real quickly. Like I said, you want to stay till the end because we have something for you. All right. Okay. Someone says youth are not ready in Nigeria. I don't know if you agree with this. Honorable Seyi, they say the young people are not ready. Young people who just want to pop champagne, just on a ball. They don't want to, you know, pay their dues in governance.
You know, Seun said something. He said we mustn't be sentimental, and we need a lot of orientation. I think we just need to get off this victim mindset, this entitlement mindset. This let them live it because they are old and we are young. Youth is not an ideology. You understand? Whoever got into power by crying and just being emotional, no, it's not going to happen. In fact, when I was in Oxford, the teacher said, professor said, maybe they should not give you if all you do is complain and cry. We need people that are ready to look. We have wicked problems, wicked challenges in society. Those in governance must have the capacity to solve these problems. You need people that have the emotional intelligence, the intellectual capacity, the physical strength. Do you understand? To be able to handle these challenges. You're solving education, health is coming up. You're solving health, security is coming up. You're solving security. Traditional rulers have challenges. That's how society works. It's difficult problems. So we don't need leaders that are just complaining, please speak us, please speak up. No, we need people that are saying, look, I'm ready. I'm going to go to AGID and take some courses and be even more ready. And I'm going to become part of the solution. Because to be honest, if we keep going around this massaging ourselves, oh, don't worry, they will soon leave. It's not going to happen. So I think the youths need orientation, but I also believe that in the time past where we have seen the youth organize, NSAS was a good example. When we have seen it come together, we can see the power, the innovation, the energy, the ability that the youth possess, and the ability to wield it for common good. And I think we have everything it takes, but the ability to organize ourselves, the ability to arrange ourselves, the ability to have similar mindsets and to be able to go for a common cause. I think that's the difficult thing. And I think that's what the older ones know very well and will continue to divide and rule as much as possible, so that once you guys don't agree, then you're never ever going to be able to create a consensus that can challenge the status quo. So these are the sort of challenges we face in society. These are the issues we have. But until we start to understand our strength in our numbers and we're able to, you know, bring common minds, common values together and then challenge the system, then we're ready. You know, we have all we need to make it happen.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, Honorable Fakorede, I don't know, someone's asking about grassroots politics here. How do we participate from the grassroots level? Because obviously that's another ball game entirely. You know, you can be popular, but if you're not accepted in the grassroots level. So how do you participate from the grassroots level?
Well, I mean, so all these things, I personally believe that it's not rocket science. The only way to participate at the grassroots level is to be at the grassroots to participate. I mean, it's as easy and as simple, as that. I remember when I was appointed, commissioner, I mean, a number of persons said, "Oh, but would he be able to hold the grassroots? I mean, he's a technocrat. I mean, he might not be able to mingle, and engage the people at the grassroots." And for me, all those were actually I took them as positive criticisms and positive pointers that can actually help me be a better person. So, and I made sure that, okay, if there's anything I'm going to do, I'm going to work on that grassroots. I mean, there's nobody today who understands my political pedigree and who understands the amount of influence that I have at the grassroots, who will come out to say that, oh, Seun doesn't have a grassroots backing, or Seun doesn't have the youth in his grassroots following him the way they ought to follow him. So I think that really, I mean, what is grassroots? Grassroots is just a local community. And the way politics and governance is going now, all you just need to do is to be able to be present. If you stay in Lagos and then your grassroots or maybe your home or local government is in Barapa Central, like my local government, all you just need to do is that you just like maybe once in a while. You definitely cannot be there every time. I mean, the reason why I was called to come serve the governor as Honorable Commissioner for Youth and Sport was not because of the fact that I was sitting at home. It was a function of the fact that I was doing something. So, but when opportunity comes like that you are meant to do something, then you should also be able to actually show some presence at the grassroots level. So, but for everybody, I think there's nothing you want to do about it. If you stay in Lagos, you live in Abuja, and then you say because you want to participate in grassroots politics, you want to be coming home every weekend. So I mean, I don't know how you can sustain that, except maybe the job that you are doing is also trying to make provision for that to finance that. It's not always easy, but I mean, a number of times what you just need to show is show commitment, show that, okay, yes, I'm part of this system. And there's really nothing that they want to do in my local government today that, I mean, sometimes it's not even necessarily that you should show make yourself available physically. There are a number of things that you can be available for. I mean, that is beyond being there physically. I don't think there's anything that they will do in my local community today and that I won't be in the know of, or that I won't have my own personal contribution towards it. So I mean, I think that is just the way to go. And not just me, there are a number of people in the Barapa Central local government that they want to do okay, so there's something that we're going to do in my hometown in Italy now, in the coming days. I mean, they know that I was not even around in Nigeria. I mean, but they still reached out to me. So that is, and whatever I do, whatever I communicate, whatever my responsibility is in that projection or that project that we're about to do, everybody will definitely know what my contribution is. And that's why whenever anytime to talk about something comes, they won't say that, oh, this guy just abandoned us at home, or he abandoned us at the grassroots, not doing anything. Do you get? I'm not in government now, so I mean, I'm not a political jobber at the same time. So I cannot just go and sit in a grass. What is going to make money for me? So these are the realities that we should be able to talk about. I mean, and a lot of people shy away from it. Politicians shy away from it. You will not see a Seun Fakorede go and sit down in the Barapa Central local government because nothing is going to bring me money in that place. Do you get? So, but am I concerned? Am I involved with development of the Barapa Central local government? Yes, very well. So, but if tomorrow, dictates that I should be in the Barapa Central Local Government, you will not find me anywhere else. You find me more in the Barapa Central Local Government. So that's why, for every, for everyone interested in politics, for every youth, you have to understand, know the purpose of everything. When purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. Do you get? When I was serving as Honorable Commissioner for Youth and Sports, Oyo State was my primary responsibility. You won't find me to sit in Abuja or sit in Lagos or go and sit in the US or sit in the UK. I say that I'm serving, the good people of Oyo State, from my closet in the UK. No. But I mean, before I came to serve Oyo State as commissioner, I was also in Lagos because that was where I was making money from. But when I had to come to pick up a job as commissioner, it means that I have to drop every other thing that was priority, that was first place, and then to embrace my assignment in Oyo State to be the first to take first place, and that was strictly what I did. So we today we should understand that the purpose of a thing is very, very key. To run office, to do politics, whether you like it or not, money is involved. So, and if you are not a political jobber, you have to know how to maintain your relevance.
Right. Okay. So I want to address Abe government. He's a participant. He's here because we're here to have a conversation, not to be confrontational. Abe government. So there's no point coming here to attack anyone. We're having a conversation. It's not a confrontation. So I see all of your comments. And if you're saying I'm selective in taking my questions, because I'm selecting questions from here, from the comment section. All right. So it's all right for me to do that.
Yeah,
all right. So he wants to know what you have
please,
achieved. He wants to know how many people you have helped in the 4 years that you have been. So let's ask his government questions. So you just
before you actually say something, Ronke, I was going to also, because I don't want it to look like as if normally I would have loved that we ignore this person, but because I don't feel like he has any information whatsoever. But it's also good. Sometimes that's the one of the perks, or one of the the burden of leadership. We have to take our pain, we have to take the pain to explain to people what they don't see. We can say that the things that we've done is visible to the blind and audible to the deaf, that we've done this, we've done that, but we still have people that we need to go the extra mile to explain. So Abe government or whatever, if you really want to know what Seyi Adisa has done, I think you can actually go on his page. I follow him very closely, and I know that he has he does, he has all of his records, is there. If you want to know what I have done, I have, in fact, at the end of my tenure in May, I don't even think Abe knows that I'm not longer a serving commissioner, because you are still asking me to go and sit in my hometown. That politics is a full-time job. I beg to differ. Do you get? I will not go and sit down in my hometown if there's nothing bringing money, for me, in my hometown. I'm not a political jobber. Do you get? So it was not that, okay, because of the fact that I was doing grassroots politics, that was what gave me the opportunity. No, it was my antecedents doing something. So I think what you do for us is, to go and also, do your findings to, number one, find out what I was doing before, governance, before government, and then, find out what I've been able to do in office. And that same goes to, my brother, Seyi Adisa, to know what, he was up to before government, what he was doing, is, what's it called now, is his track record, in the office. And I think we'll be able to go far, with that. You said Tinubu and Atiku took politics, full time. Anyway, so Ronke, I think we should actually go to another.
Thank you very much. I think so that we don't get sidetracked. One of the things I think helps a lot of politicians now is to move with the times. And when we started office, I was very keen on data. And so I started going to Afidjo with almost no numbers. I have maybe almost 50,000 people, direct beneficiaries that I have phone numbers and emails and whatever we contact just from our interactions. So it's not even just pictures and videos. We have phone numbers of those that have been direct beneficiaries of what we have done. So I know Abby seems to be trying to pull our legs here, but I think we can focus on some of the other questions now. But I think it's clear, you know, what we've done. We have the records show for it, and I'm sure Abe will acquaint himself with that information as well.
Yeah. All right. Okay, we just have a few more minutes. But someone's asking, is it possible without a godfather? I know we've talked about the advantages of having a godfather. It's not always, doesn't always have to be a negative thing, but can it be done without a mentor or a godfather?
I think, you know, there are structures and there are systems. Every organization has systems. It has people that have been there, if you like the landlords, people that have been in the system. I've seen situations where someone did not have money, but because he was very close to the system, he won his election, and he wasn't the one with as much money as the money bag, as it were, because the systems were working for him. And so, yes, it's possible, but I think you need to you know, be involved. There's no you know, let me put it on the other side. The other guys that are going to vote, they have many questions in their mind. Who is this person? How do we know him? How do we know that when he gets into office, he will remember us? How do we know that we can get to him? Who is going to call him for us? Can we go to his house? Would he use dogs to chase us when we come and see him? What is he like? How do we reach him? He says he wants to be our representatives. How do we get him? So these are real questions that people at the grassroots are saying. And I love Seun Fakorede's answers. And next week, we're bringing Ake Alabi, and he's also going to talk a little bit more about the grassroots and a lot of things that, you know, you hear being thrown around, and some youths don't even understand what exactly is it, you know. So these are some of the conversations we'll continue to have. But absolutely, I think you can, but you need to be involved in the system. When I ran for my office, several power blocks that never worked with each other worked with each other because I was going to meet them separately and working with them separately. And all of them, even though they don't see eye to eye, worked for my election. And I know they don't, you know, because they have like territorial battles, but because of the way I approached them and worked with them, they worked with me in their different districts, and we were able to achieve results. So I think the fact is that these people have structures, systems in place. You coming as an outsider and not being acquainted with those structures makes it a very difficult journey. So you need to understand how to know who the key players are, who are the key influencers, who are the people that when they cough, the whole community knows something has happened. How do I work with them? How do I engage them? So even if it's not one person, you can have a collegiate group of people you're going to meet, but you're going to need people in any system, in any community to really get what you're going to do.
Okay, thank you very much. Someone says here, I'm a law student and my intention is to join politics after leaving university. Is it advisable to enter politics immediately, sir, or practice law first before going into politics?
You know, one of the jokes we say in politics is have a second address. You know, Seun Fakorede can, without any, when before he joined government, he had his business. After government, he's gone back to his business. I was a lawyer before government. After government, I'm back at my law firm. And so it's important that you have what you call, is it primary address or secondary address, somewhere where you can make money. That way you don't get desperate. That way you don't get in the situation where I must win this election. I must be a jobber. Otherwise, I have no alternative.
Okay. I think Honorable Adisa says it's a little, where is it? Okay. All right. So let me
Private sector.
Okay. So someone's actually asking about that. I think this might be, let's see if we have any more questions I haven't taken. What structure? Okay, let's see. Anyway, moving on. Okay, so I was talking about, and I think he sort of answered that about someone who's been in, private practice for a long time and then now wants to go into politics, who's had great achievements. And I think they've talked about that. Seun Fakorede was someone who was doing something, but because he was excelling, he was appointed. Adisa has talked about that. So he's talking about having excelled in the private sector. Is it easy to get acceptability in, political sector? I think
let me just quickly say, Ronke, that even from your private sector, what are you doing to support the system? I've seen people that when parties need things, as private companies, they support those political parties. They support the system. When they eventually come in, it's a lot easier. This system, as it were, appreciates those that participate, appreciates those that fund it, appreciates those that are part of the system. And I think it's important that even from your private sector, whether you're in diaspora, whether you're wherever you are, you can participate from where you are. So I think it's important that, they don't put any restrictions, don't put any mindset block that would not allow you participate.
All right, thank you. I don't think we have any. Okay, yes. Like he said, Honorable Akin Alabi will be here next Thursday. So I'm sure that perhaps if you have a burning question we're not able to get to today, perhaps you'll be able to. I had more questions, but obviously because of time, I'm going to hang on to those questions till next Thursday. But yes, you should join us next Thursday. And also to let you know that the African Governance Institute for Development is looking to sort of, for those who are looking to be mentored and look to learn more about governance as young people, you can register for the course at the AGIP. So we're going to put a link here for those who would like to know more about politics, know more about how to, be better leaders, know more about, how to develop our nation. You should enroll with the African Governance Institute for Development because there you can learn. I don't know if Seyi can tell us a bit more. What's the duration of each course and all of that?
All right, thank you, Ronke. I think the purpose of these webinars is just to kickstart conversations. There is no way we can really go in depth into a lot of things we're talking about here. Seun has shared his experience, I've shared mine, but the honest truth is that there is so much more that we have, and that's why we created this institute. So we have the African Governance Institute for Development. We're based in the University of Ibadan. We have a collaboration with the Institute of African Studies. And so we have our offices over there at the University of Ibadan. And we have different courses. We have courses from as short as 1 day to as long as 4 weeks. And for this particular year, we have one course coming up in December 8th and 9th. It's called The Young Leader in Government, And it's a lot to do about preparations to get into government, and navigating your way when you get there. If you're going to go into these spaces, you need to be prepared. It's amazing how many people get into government and start asking, what am I supposed to do? And from people like Seun, like myself, thank God we had a bit of preparation. But even then, I'm sure we could have had even much more preparation. And that's what the AGID is there to do. So yes, we have a course. It's December 8th and 9th, which is Friday and Saturday. It's virtual. If you're interested, the link will be there. And for anyone that is interested, if you sign up within the next 24 hours, there will be a discount applied. The course is $150, but if you join within the next 24 to 48 hours, it will be for $100,000. And so, as I said, it's 2 days. We have facilitators coming from different parts, and we'll be talking about, a lot of the things you need to do to prepare if you're deciding to go into the public sector, into government, and into that space. So that's it. But from next year, there will be so many other courses. We have courses for civil servants, for local government administrators, for those already in office, and so on and so forth. But like I said, the webinars will just encourage us to have these conversations. But if you want in-depth knowledge, you're going to have to join us at the course. Thank you.